Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day, another evening, wherever you are in the world. It could be evening, to 30NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Space Marines 2. Skill Up has a Space Marines 2 even bigger and better than I thought hands-on impression, so we're going to be watching and giving comment of that. We're going to talk about Borderlands, the film. It comes out today officially. People have already seen it. Reviewers are coming out, and boy, is it glorious. So we'll talk about all and have a little bit of fun with Borderlands. There's that movie of the year that some people want it to be. Just to let you know, IGN gave it a 3. If IGN gives it a 3, I'm just saying, they usually give great games 7s. So if this is a 3, holy Christ, like what is happening here? Okay. We're also going to talk about Baldur's Gate 3. They got some numbers coming in 1 year after the game came out. We're going to go over all the numbers that they gave, what people did in the game, how many people finished the game, and whatnot. And we're just going to have a good morning, just have a good conversation, talking about gaming news, just entertainment news in general. If you like what we do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. All right, so let's start off. We'll start off with Baldur's Gate 3. But let's see what chat's doing. Travis, it's funny. I didn't even know that my Xbox was on. Last night after I logged out, I just shut the TV off and stuff, and I left my Xbox on, and Star Wars was playing in the background. So I didn't know what you were talking about when you're like, lightsaber noise. Like, what is he talking about? So random. And then I put my headphones on, and I was like, oh. I was like, I didn't know that was in the background. I didn't even know my Xbox was on. Morning, Z. Morning, JoJo. What's going on, Sarge? What's going on, Dolphin? Good morning. JoJo says, I might be alone in this, but looking forward to seeing the Borderlands movie. Hey, you can like what you like, but we can also say that the movie's going to be crap, right? You can like what you like. No one should ever get offended if you like something and someone else hates something. Like, yeah, you have to like defend it in any way, shape, or form, right? I mean, we got some doozies of here. Let me give you a brief summary. There on Rotten Tomatoes right now, it's a 0% because they haven't done anything yet. But the reviews coming in from people, not one of them is fresh. They're all bad. 10 critics, every single one is bad. Every single one. Fantastic. It's fantastic. All right. What's going on, Kylo? Sarge says, you are alone. Kylo says, morning, guys. Looks like they did Borderlands dirty. As soon as I saw Kevin Hart in it, I knew it was bad. You know, it's funny that everyone says that. And everyone's like, that's not fair to Kevin Hart. It's like, that is probably one of the worst castings I've ever seen of a character. People don't realize that because they probably don't even know what the fuck Borderlands is for people that are just the normies out there like, what's Borderlands? Let's go watch Borderlands. Oh, Kevin Hart's in it? That is the only reason. They're like, how do we get people to come sit in this chair? What about if we put Kevin Hart in it? Brilliant. Let's do it. Jojo says, I love the Monster Hunter movie, but then again, it also really enjoyed Redfall. Jojo, I mean this in the nicest way. You might want to reevaluate what you like or don't like after I just said you can like what you like or whatnot, but everything that you just said, Monster Hunter movie bombed so bad, Redfall bombed so bad, and Borderlands is going to bomb so bad. No, I joke. Like what you like. Hey, I give you credit, man. You're standing here telling us what you like, and even though all three of those things are bad. But hey, stick by you. Like what you like. Zyber Sword says, I'll watch it in a few weeks on Prime. Somebody on Twitter, this is what made me laugh. Someone said in one of the comments on Twitter, and this is the only reason I like Twitter, because the internet makes me laugh. Okay, the internet makes me laugh. It says, I'll watch it when it hits streaming next week. It comes out this weekend, and they're like, well, we'll watch it next weekend. Yeah. Zybersword says, Jojo, you are the target audience, right? There's people that they're going for, and you're in that demographic. You're in that demographic. Look, I like bad movies, right? There's plenty of bad movies in the past that I love that are like cult classics. They're really shitty movies they're so shitty to become good. Maybe Borderlands is so bad that it becomes good, right? Potentially. That could be. Maybe it's so bad it becomes good. Chris says, I guess there's nothing wrong for a person liking any sugar-coated shit, I suppose. Eclipse says, man, could this be the worst movie that ever hits theaters in sales? Let's not put expectations on there, Eclipse. Let's not put expectations. Let's keep our expectations low. Jojo says they're not good movies, but they're entertaining me, so that's enough for me. Yeah, sure. Waterbear says Space Marines 2 is definitely a beast. Yeah, we're gonna watch Skill Up's review or preview impressions. Kylo says, is Kevin Hart supposed to be Roland? Yes. Gladiator 2 is going to be worse than Borderlands. Well, here's something that I have in common with both those films. I'm not watching either of them. One, I don't want to watch Borderlands because it looks horrendous. And two, Gladiators 2, I'm just tired of Pedro Pascal. He's done nothing to me. I'm just tired of seeing his face on screen. I need a Pedro Pascal, break. I am Pedro Pascal fatigued. I'm just tired of seeing him in every movie that I turn on. I figured I haven't seen Last of Us or anything like that. I'm not going to watch this. Maybe by the time Fantastic Four comes out, I'll watch it because I'll have a break where I don't watch any of his movies. Maybe. That's what I'm saying, Lord. That's what I'm saying. Just Men in Black me. Just flashbang me, and I'll be like, what? Who's that? I don't want to see him for a bit. All right, let's go to Borderlands, or I'm sorry, Baldur's Gate. All right, on their Twitter account, they have a bunch of stats. They have a bunch of stats on their site, and so it's a 1 year anniversary, and they got a couple of stats here. Those of you that are playing Baldur's Gate 3, I love stats, I love numbers, I love seeing things, right? So the top 3 origin characters as avatars, you can see there. Gale's number 2, just barely below, and then Shadowheart is just under 1 million. However, over 93% of the players choose to play as a custom avatar, with 15% of those players picking Dark Urge. Okay, top classes, you got Paladin, then you got Sorcerer, then you got Fighter, then Barbarian, then Rogue, then Warlock, then Bard, then Wizard, then Monk, the Druid, Ranger, and Cleric. Top race picked is Elf, Half Elf, Human. Okay, I see the fantasy base in there. I see you guys. I see you guys in there. Okay. Then you got the Drow. Then you got the Dragonborn. You got the Half Orc. Okay. And then following it out is the Halfling at the very bottom here. Just under 2.5 million. So it's around 2 million, I think, people, right? So there's that stat. Then we have top 3 character classes per race. Okay. So as the dwarf, paladin, barbarian, and fighter. Then as the dragonborn, you have sorcerer, paladin, and barbarian. Halfling, you got the bard, the rogue, and the monk. The gnome, you have the bard, the rogue, and the druid. Then you have the rest figuring it out over there. Okay. Then you have 1.8 million players betrayed the emperor after all you did for you. Okay. 329,000 players convinced to live with the mind flayer tentacles are this year anyway. 3.3 million players killed. 200,000 of those had Gal blow himself up to do the emissary approves. And the 34 players playing as Avatar choose to kill themselves at the end of the game. That's actually an impressive. That's an impressive thing. Only 34 players. 34 players. That's it. Millions of people played the game. 34 players. Okay. Honor mode. 141,000 players conquered Honored mode. Okay. Which is like 10% of the player base. Okay. 1.2 million playthroughs ended in defeat. Okay. 76% of them honorably deleted their game save, and 24% continued their adventure in custom mode. Okay. I like numbers like this. Okay. Then you have the most importantly, 1.9 million players were tuned into a cheese wheel, while 3.5 million players paid to visit some friendly dinosaurs. 2 million players freed us from the colony, and at 377,000 dark urges figured out the way to spare. How directly blame, right? So there you go. What else we got here? There was more. Wait a minute. We had more. Let me go to my Discord. I think Krebsy put them all in here. Was it Gaming Talk? Where'd you put it, Krebsy? Okay, here they are. We got that one. Did that one. Okay. Let me open that. We got that one. All right. Did they open up in a different... Where did they open up to? Where the hell did they open up to? Oh, for God's sakes. All right. Got it. All right. So then we had 1,498 players hugged Good Gale goodbye as to go. His plan needs to see him. Okay. 1.1 million players gave Haslin a hug. 2,185 people, God Gales, choose to transform Terra into the hairless cat. And 54,000 players petted Terra a dozen. So there's millions of people playing, and only like 54,000 people got to this point in the game, which I think is pretty funny. Then we have Scratch the petted over 120 million times. Okay, the dog was petted 121 million times. The owl bear cub was petted over 41 million times. I think there's an owl discrimination towards this campaign here. Okay, more people like dogs than owls. Okay, you racist owl fans, you. Okay, and then the hairless cat, 141,000 players attempted to pet this cat. I was one of them. Okay, I tried to pet him. Okay, and then here's the one. Here's the one that's funny to me. Okay, over 75 million players companions kiss. Okay, Shadowheart is the leader with 27 million kisses. Okay, then 15 million kisses, and then 169,000 kisses. Okay, in Act 1 Celebration Night, 32.5% of players spent the night with Shadowheart. 13.5% of the players got hot with Karlach, and 15.6% of the players slept alone. It's not just them. It's also they have their standards. For Act 3, 48.8% of the players experienced Shadow Heart's final romance scene. 17% of the players had romantic dinner with Karlach, and 12.9% of players held hands with Lonzil. Okay, I can't pronounce that. And now, what you've all been waiting for, okay? All what you've been waiting for. 658,000 players had sex with Haslin, okay? Or Haslin. 70% got down and dirty with him in human form. And then there's that 30%. 30%, you freaks, chose the bear. Okay. 1.1 million players got down with the Emperor. 63% of the players chose the Dream Guardian form, and 37% discovered the sensual pleasure of Mind Flayer tentacles. Okay. So there you go. There's some numbers for you for Baldur's Gate. Okay. Let's go to the article real fast. So Baldur's Gate 3 revealed that barely 10% of the players have completed the game in Honor mode since the difficulty was released. Now, the game mode dares players to finish Baldur's Gate 3 without dying, but apparently few can succeed. Some months after the game launched, Baldur's Gate 3 released Honor mode, and the game mode to not only maximize opponents' toughness, but also add permadeath and restricts players to just one save slot. Considering Baldur's Gate 3 is already a challenging game, completing with the Honor mode turns into an incredible feat. Days after it was released, Lorien Studios confirmed that while 34,000 players tried it, only 464 parties made it to the end. Now, 8 months later, Larian once again revealed how many fans have attempted Honor mode, and it lived to tell the tale. Now, to celebrate the game's first anniversary, Baldur's Gate 3 has shared infographics revealing 141,660 players have finished Honor mode with 0 party deaths. That's impressive. Meanwhile, 1.2 million fans failed. The results of 10.38% of players successfully completing Honor mode with over 1.3 million. And the game mode makes some of the Baldur's Gate 3 hardest fights feel impossible to beat. So this small percentage of players proves to be very skilled. Okay, only 10% of Baldur's Gate 3 players have completed it, which is impressive, man. Which is impressive. So when a player died in Honor mode, they also gave the option to either delete their save or continue the run in custom mode. According to Larian, out of the 1.2 million gamers that failed the mode, 76% decided to delete their run, okay? While 24% continued to custom switch to Baldur's Gate 3 custom mode, allows players to save their character's progress and carry it into enjoying campaign. But they won't be able to stay the beat, or they won't say they beat the Honor mode. Now, while 10% may seem low, it still means that 140,000 Baldur's Gate 3 players have conquered the mode, and fans have the excellent strategies to achieve this. While others may be blessed with luck, it's unbelievably feat that Baldur's Gate 3 players beat this mode. So that's, look, I like stuff like this. I love seeing numbers like this. I love when people go above and beyond, like there's a small percentage. Look, you're not going to put it on a job resume and be like, you know, I'm qualified for this job because I played Baldur's Gate 3 and I beat Honor mode. They're like, you beat Honor mode? Get the fuck out of here. You beat that mode? Well, you know, Susie didn't even play the game. But that's impressive, and we know that you mean what you mean, so we're going to give you the job over Susie. But do you check the other boxes first? No? Okay, never mind. We're going to go back to Susie now. Okay, but that's really impressive that only 10% of millions of people that tried the actual thing, only a couple, 140,000 people, which is really impressive. So I like this. Look, I think something like this should be put into like a Souls game, maybe in the future, because then you have people that want to play the hard mode and have that badge of honor, and then you have people that just want to play the game and like complete the game, right? And this goes into a whole nother conversation if they should have difficulty modes and stuff like that. But I think if you ramp it up even more, I think certain people would love to see it, because there's people that love to play those games for the brutality of it. But at the same time, if there was a mode that makes it even harder, and then there's a small percentage of people, then most of those people would move over to the next one. You know what I mean? So, really cool that Baldur's Gate, and look at this, right? This game, a year later, is screaming from the rooftops of how many people played the game, how many people completed the game, how many people had sex with the characters in the game, how many kisses, how many deaths, how many things, right? Then you have the other games that stay quiet. They don't tell you how many sales. They don't tell you how many things. They just show you stats to make it seem like Concord, where we had 12 million people that killed. Well, how many people played the game? How many people broke down to each thing? Like, is it 20 kills per person? You only had 100,000 people play the game, right? Is that good? Like, so I think this is great. Not only is this game like won Game of the Year awards and all this other stuff, but they're more than happy to tell you about all the little statistics in there for people that are playing the game. So there's the Baldur's Gate 3 numbers. I always like seeing numbers like that. It's always a little fun little time. Jason says, nah, don't pre-order the drum. Wait for a few months for the sale. For which one, Jason? What you guys are talking about here? I want to order a physical copy of Baldur's Gate 3 just to support them, even though it's not my type of game. I felt the same way. I've never played the other Baldur's Gate game, right? And I was like, you know what? I bought it for PC but now I'm thinking about buying it actually for the console, but I want to buy the physical copy on console. Because it's a game that years down the road, when they take my games away from me or the disc drives or whatever, as long as I have a console that works, that I can pop it in and I can play the game. Come on, Drummer Man. Good morning. Do you recommend pre-ordering Space Marines 2? The previews have been good so far. I don't pre-order anything. So asking me, should you pre-order? That's up to you. I tell people, don't pre-order. Just wait. If you want like the figurine or a bookcase or a specialty thing, pre-order away if you get the toys. Okay? But if you just want the game, there's no reason to pre-order a game in any way, shape, or form. Just get it when the game comes out. Ron says, these numbers remind me of Concord. Yeah, but actually, people actually played this game, Ron. Vandal says, no, don't pre-order any game ever. The companies can't be trusted. They've shown this over and over and over again for 15, for 20 years. Stop pre-ordering games, period. Yeah, and I agree. I stand by what they're saying. Don't pre-order a game. Again, the only reason I would say pre-order a game is if it comes with some sort of physical tower or something that you want to get, right? Never pre-order a game because they tell you, like, if it's a looter shooter and they're like, we're going to give you these extra guns. You're never going to use those guns. You're going to use them for about a half a second till you find your next gun in the game, and you'll never use those guns ever again. If you're looking for like an emote or anything like that, you'll never use that stuff. So don't pre-order a game for that. Again, you get a statue, get something with it. Cool. Pre-order all you want. But if you want to pre-order a game because you're excited about a game and then the game comes out broke, buggy, and unfinished, that's part of the problem, right? Games, look at Skull and Bones, look at Avatar, look at all these games that came out. Skull and Bones right now you can get for half off. It came out 4 months ago, right? 4 or 5 months ago. It's already half price. Okay? People paid $120 for that game because they pre-ordered it. It's not, Ron, it's not on the marketplace for Xbox right now. It's coming down the road. When it comes out, it's not launching on Xbox at the same time. It comes out a couple months later, I think. We could have a conversation if it's because of the Xbox Series S, and people will be like, no, it's not, but it probably is. It's probably optimization for that. Jojo says, I'll be pre-ordering AC Shadows. Why are you pre-ordering? Is there something that comes with it? I don't know. I'm asking. Does something come with the pre-order? What's going on, Rowick? What's going on, Argus? Like my beloved Destiny Tower. Right. If you're getting something physical with the pre-order stuff, cool. You're getting something with it. Cybersword says 4 A's experience, 4 months check. One for every A. Argus says 9 times out of 10, even any cosmetics you get for pre-ordering or getting higher editions will also be available in the game, or at least buy separately at any, even if you get it standard. Right, that stuff's usually in there. But if in a looter shooter specifically, if they ever give you a gun that's like, this is the best gun, get this gun before anybody else, and you get that gun, you'll use that gun when the game starts, and as soon as you kill your first guy, it drops a weapon, you pick it up, you put it on, and you never touch the other gun ever again. Jojo says, I don't know. But it's my favorite game series. All right. Now I have a question. If you pre-order the game and you get it the same day as everybody else, why pre-order if you can just buy it the day it comes out? Here's the reason I say don't pre-order, right? Here's the reason I say don't pre-order. Okay. Let's pick a game that, a perfect example. Cyberpunk, which is a great game now, okay? When the game came out, it sold 8 million pre-order copies. It sold all the versions of the game that it needed to sell in its entirety before the pre-order, okay? The game came out broke, buggy, unfinished. I know people will be like, no, PC was fine. Doesn't matter. It was out for a bunch of consoles, bunch of platforms. It came out broke, buggy, and unfinished. It had 8 million pre-orders. The most that it's ever had in any game ever. And then it took them 3 years to fix it. Okay? If people didn't pre-order that game and it came out day one, and then people started buying it, they would have known that it was broke, buggy, and unfinished. But they already have your money, right? They already have your money. And once they have your money, if there is a problem with the game in any way, shape, or form, they technically don't have to do shit about it. Because you play for 2 hours, and that's fine. You know, that's it. Okay? And that's it. So 2 hours past the thing, there's no consumer protection, and this is why pre-ordering is stupid in this day and age with digital games. If you are getting a physical copy back in the day, you had to pre-order because if you walk to your game shop, they might have only gotten 10 copies in, but there's more than 10 people that were interested in the game. So when they came in, they're like, hey, can I have a copy of this game? And they're like, here you go. And then someone else comes in and says, can I have a copy of this game? They're like, oh, I'm sorry, we're all sold out. We'll have to order more. And you're like, oh, man, I really wanted to play that game, and you had to wait. Okay? So then they started doing pre-ordering to see what the interest was, and then how many things they could make and go, okay, well, if in this territory, 10,000 people wanted the game, they're like, all right, well, there's 10 stores there. Let's dish out those games to those stores. And then everybody that pre-ordered it would get a copy guaranteed day one, and then they had like 4 or 5 left over for any walk-ins that could take the game. But now it's digital. There's no reason. They're not going to run out of digital codes. Like, you can download the game before, the day of, the day after, the month later. And if you wait, right, it's a single-player game, right? It's a single-player game. You would save money. Do people not like to save money? Do you guys go out and just buy the most expensive thing, even though like the next thing right next to it's the same quality, but you don't care? You're just like, nah, I'm just going to throw money at it? All I'm trying to do is to tell people, don't pre-order games. Just wait that one day. Wait for the reviews. Wait for the stuff that comes out. Actual gameplay. Even the previews that we're going to watch about Space Marine 2. Okay? There might be issues with the game day one. They might fix it patch 1. But if they can't fix it day 1 or week 1 or month 1, then you're not getting the full product that you paid for prepaid. Travis says, 30, I might get AC Shadows, but guess what? Not Gold Edition. It just doesn't have a physical bonus, so no. I don't even know what that means. I don't know if Gold, Ultimate, Steel, Plaid. I don't know what any of those versions are. Cyber Sword says, PC was not fine. Everyone loves to say that PC was... I say Cyberpunk was bad. They're like, no, my PC was fine. So I'm just like, yeah, PC was fine. Everything else was bad. DMX says, I pre-ordered Cyberpunk at GameStop, and their truck came a day late. I had to wait. Awesome. Awesome. Magic Dolphin says, like pre-ordering at GameStop and waiting in, for midnight. Ah, what a time to be alive. Yeah, those were great times. Those were great times. Jack says, 30, even after patches, some games run worse later, a year later. True. Here's the greatest part, right? The Jedi Survivor, which I loved. I love the Fallen Order. I love Survivor. Now they're doing a cash grab by taking the game and putting it on the old systems, right? What is it, a year and a half later when the game came out? Right? Remember when Hogwarts Legacy was supposed to all come out at the exact same time? People pre-ordered it on the Switch, and then they delayed it. Now, they gave people's money back, okay? That's one occasion that they actually like, oh, yeah, we're pushing this game back months later, so we're going to give you your money back, and you had a choice if you wanted to keep it or not. But they pushed it back to, like, November, right? You could have paid for that game in, like, December of last year and then received it in November of the following year, but you gave them the money. Eclipse says, I guarantee you those special editions will be there. If it's not sold out then, they're never going to be sold out. That's true. I like Baldur's Gate 3 because you can get the physical copy, and they say they'll always have it. They'll always have it. Kurt says, midnight releases was a vibe. Yeah, it was great. I remember my brother-in-law is not a real big gamer, right? But there's like two games that he loves. He loves the college football games, and he loves Grand Theft Auto. And I remember when Grand Theft Auto 4 came out, right? He calls me up and he's like, hey, when does Grand Theft Auto 4 come out? I said, it comes out this week. And he's like, it does? I was like, yeah, you get a pre-order. You can pick it up on midnight. And at the time he was in college. This is before kids. This is before girlfriends and stuff. And he's like, can I come with you? He's never been to a midnight launch party before. And I was like, yeah. And he stood in line and he was like, this is amazing. There had to be 250 people deep, right? And we got there 4 hours early, right? We had it was almost like a tailgating party, right? It was almost like a tailgating party. There was like music going on. Guy brought a grill to like cook out some stuff, right? It was amazing. It was amazing. And he thought it was great because he was like, this is like tailgating. I was like, yeah, it's an experience. Like, that doesn't happen anymore. That doesn't happen anymore. Yeah, here's the thing. I'm a straight shooter. I'll say how it is and how I feel and stuff like that. You do what you want with your money. I'm just giving you the explanation of why you shouldn't pre-order, because pre-ordering, if they can get your money ahead of time, why would they finish the product, right? If they're 3 months out of the game, okay, and the game comes out broke, buggy, and unfinished, and you gave them the money ahead of time, they already have your money. There is no validation afterwards to them to go, maybe we should fix it. We'll just put a couple things out and fix it. But if you don't pre-order and you wait till day one, you wait till week one after the game comes out, they're sweating. They're like, we didn't make our sales. We didn't make our sales. Let the game talk for itself. Let the word of mouth happen. People play the game and go, yeah, this is a really good game, right? Let the product speak for itself. Don't let people like me or other people skew you to think that this works or doesn't work. There needs to be a protection for more than 2 hours for video games, because what game companies do is they pack the front end of the game to be really polished, and then after a certain period of hours, it starts to break down or it's incomplete. Travis says, 30, don't forget the new double pack for Jedi Survivor. What's the double pack? I don't even know about the double pack. Whatever it is, I got to pre-order it. You know, most people, when they get 3 days early access, JoJo, and I'm not saying you, most people that buy 3-day early access, they usually can't play it anyway, because most people that are playing video games have like full-time jobs, and usually games come out on like a Tuesday, but they can't play it until the weekend anyway. But now they push it to Friday and then sell you for extra money for that Tuesday launch, which now they pay an extra $30 to $40 to get that 3-day early access when literally it used to be on Tuesday, but now they make it Friday and then sell you for an extra $30, $40 to get it on the actual day of Tuesday, but they can't play it till the weekend anyway. Zybersword says, is it true I did not have Helldivers or Hogwarts Legacy on my radar, but gameplay after release convinced me to purchase? Yep, Helldivers and Hogwarts. Hogwarts Legacy is a very good game. Give me 1 second. All right. Give me a second. My son comes in the room. He's bleeding. Give me a second. All right. Sorry about that. He smashed his knee. He was playing. He smashed his knee up against his face, and he has a loose tooth, so now it's looser. All right, let's see. Chris says, hence why I patiently wait for any newly released game to be on discount or patches, bug fixes, updates were made if the proper reviews are out. And here's the thing, right? Even if a game comes out and it's like amazing, like so day one, people start talking about the game in good light. You're like, great. You pick it up. You pick it up next week. You can pick it up next month, right? It's still going to be a good game. And then it's still complete. You're paying more to play on release day and less to play late. That's right. It's genius, right? Tuesday release day, let's make it Friday and then charge $30 to $40 more to get it on Tuesday again. So like, no one wants to pay for a $100 game, but if we make it seem like they get early access to it, well, that's value. Altered says he has bleeding status effect right now. Oh, man. It's basically just both games for $80 for PlayStation 5 and PS4. Well, technically, yeah, I guess it's what, $40 a game? Argus says that's true. There's a couple of games a while back that got a 3-day early access for don't really play because I have to continue to grind shit in my live service games like fucking Destiny. Well, that's a whole different conversation, Argus. That all games are like live service now, right? And you're constantly going back to older games that our live service instead of playing new games. So when you buy a new game, you don't have the time to play those new games because you're still playing the old games to keep up with it. Cybersword says, I do not pay full price for Ubisoft games anymore. They go on sale so often. Oh, yeah. They go on sale super fast. So, Avatar came out in November. It was on sale in January. Actually, I think it went on sale because of Christmas. And then it went on sale again in January. Skull and Bones came out in, was it February? Or was it April? Either way, okay. When did Skull and Bones come out? When did it come out? February 16th. Okay. Just 2 weeks after Skull and Bones came out, it was on sale for like 20% off. Now, right now, it is down to $33. $33. Right? And so it's like, well, I'm having fun. That's fine. You can have fun. Okay. But you understand these games go on sale so fast because they're not making the sales. If they were making sales, it would be like Grand Theft Auto where it's still selling full price. Okay? If they're making the sales, the price stays where it is. If the game is good, the price stays. If the game is not good, it drops the price to get people to come in. Why? Because there's microtransactions and stuff in those live service games to get people to come back and try to spend that extra money. They're like, let's drop it $40. Let's put it in there, and then let's drive them towards that microtransactions because we can get the $40 off of them that way. Yeah, Ubisoft games are just discounted within 2 to 3 months. Sometimes faster. Alternative. I'm trying to swear out the College Football 25 to try something new, new games, but I'm hooked. I watched a couple of reviews of 25, and people are excited about it. They like it because it's college, but at the same time, they're saying it's the same stuff, the same problems that they had in the Madden games. They just moved over. Argus says, at least Skull and Bones being a hit seems to have led to them to remaking the GOAT. I don't think it was a hit. I think that's why they're going back to the drawing board to try to make it. Jason, perfect example. He says, I wish Nintendo did more sales for the first-party titles, but they sell too well. Right. The market bears what it bears. And because Nintendo sells so well, the games sell so well, that's why they never go on sale. Because they know they make the games, they know they sell well, and they stay strong at what they charge, which is the $50, $60. Cool Obama says, I bought the standard edition of College Football 25 and just used the 10-hour trial through Game Pass and played it 3 days early. Baldur's Gate 3, I think the highest sales it has so far, it's like $50. I think you can still get it full price. I think you can still, it all depends on what edition you can get. Not hit. Okay, Argus. I was like, I don't think it's a hit. Argus says, Nintendo's still selling games that damn near launched with the Switch at full price still. I remember Ultimate Alliance came out. I forget, what year did Ultimate Alliance 3 come out? Right? Because I got my Switch... Oh, sorry. Ultimate Alliance 3. Yeah. So the game was released July 19th, 2019. Okay. I didn't get a Switch until Christmas of 2020. Okay. Christmas of 2020. So it's a year and a half later. That game was still full price. Never went on sale. I watched and looked and kept track of it because I wanted to play it so bad. It stayed rock solid, full price on Nintendo. I was like, this is amazing. This is amazing. They do not go on sale. Very rarely do they go on sale. And when they do, they don't drop that much. They're like 10%, 15%, maybe 20%. Magic Dolphin says, I bought Ultimate Alliance 3 a few months ago and still paid $90 for it all and the DLC. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy. Eclipse says, yeah, no game sells that good. Remember, buying Breath of the Wild after it's been out for like 2 years, still had to pay $60 for it. That's Nintendo for you. That's Nintendo for you. Nintendo, with their set with the quality, with the pricing of their games, is the quality of the games. Right? You understand? Do you see the difference? Do we ever have conversations? And I'm not saying there's not bugs and glitches inside a Nintendo game, okay? Because obviously all games have their bugs and glitches. But just look at what Nintendo is compared to what Sony and Microsoft and all the other third-party platforms come out with, okay? They have solid games. Solid, quality games on Nintendo, okay? Say if it's the graphic quality or not, they have quality substance. The games are good. The story is good. The graphics are good. The actual quality of the game is good. It's complete when it comes out. Okay? Unless it's Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Unless it's Scarlet Violet. Because that game was so bad. But the ravenous fans of Pokemon bought the crap out of it and showed them nothing, okay? Showed them nothing because they bought Scarlet and Violet and they were terrible at quality, but they sold, I think it was like 30 million units. Nintendo's like, they don't care. And that is the problem. That's the problem. Well, it's not that they don't release broken games, Vandal. It's just most of the time, they have like a 95% quality ratio going on. You know what I mean? Justin says, I bought the collector's version of Pokemon. Brain says, if the Switch 2 can hit 60 frames, then I will get the next Switch. I just can't deal with the 30 frames anymore. It's not bad when I play it. It's not bad when I play it. I think the Switch, no matter where the industry is going, if it's all digital and the cloud and stuff like that, Nintendo is the grandfather, right? They're the grandfather of video games. And their clientele is always the younger. I always joke about it. You're born, they hand you a Nintendo console, and then when you die, whenever that is, okay? It doesn't matter if you die at 50 or you die at 99 or 110, okay? You hand it back in because that is Nintendo's range. Birth to death, okay? They have such an array of age bracket that they play and people love because that's usually the first system they play, right? Nintendo's usually the first console you play as a kid. And that is what Sony and Microsoft will never get. I'm not saying there's not a household where kids are younger and they're playing their parents' PlayStation or Xbox, but for the most part, most kids, because parents know that the games on the Nintendo are kid friendly, right? And that's usually what they introduce them to first. No, Nate, we haven't talked about your movie of the year yet. We haven't talked about it yet. Nintendo does have to worry about a bunch of third-party hardware easier to develop for, or does or doesn't. No matter what Switch 2 is, I won't buy it. already got Steam Deck. Can run most games at 60 or 40 frames per second. I got my daughter a Switch before she went to Xbox. Yeah, as a parent, okay, someone that doesn't have kids right now, like if you own a PlayStation and you own an Xbox or whatever, or PC, you'll have a kid. Like my kid, right? I'm a gamer, right? My kid, when he was growing up, he's going to be 10 in a couple of weeks. Okay, he played on my PC when he was a kid. He played, right? I have him playing like Boundless and Minecraft and different things, right? Then he's played the older systems. He's played on my PlayStation 2. He's played on the Xbox, right? He's played those things. But as a parent, my mind's at ease when they play on Nintendo, because Nintendo's games are meant for kids. Right? You know what I mean? Like you buy a Mario game, you buy a Zelda game, you buy any of those games, you're like, yeah, that's a good game. And that's branding and stuff that no matter what PlayStation does or Sony does or what Microsoft does, they'll never ever tap into that market of it, right? It doesn't matter how many Astro games they make or how many Crash Bandicoot games they make. It's a brand of Nintendo. Nintendo's brand is just completely untouched by anybody else. No Mario Stellar Yams. Exactly, Kurt. Right? Obviously, Travis is like, well, Bayonetta. There's third-party games out there, but I'm talking about first-party. You guys see that Disney's having a live stream of Disney 23 exclusively on Fortnite on the 10th. Well, that's interesting. I didn't know that, Kylo. But we did speak about it yesterday about what they could do with Disney type of stuff, having like a movie theater where they can go in and show, like if Deadpool and Wolverine came in and your ticket price was buying Deadpool or Wolverine's skin, like the future of what Fortnite could be with Disney. Right? So that would be interesting. Obviously, if you can watch D23 exclusively in Fortnite on the 10th, and then they're going to talk to you what they're doing with Disney inside of Fortnite, I would assume. Go on, good Papa. Don't text and fly. That's what I always say. Don't text and fly. Are you flying as a passenger, or are you in the captain chair right now? All right, do me a favor. Put the phone, put it in vertical format. Okay, put it in vertical format. Hold me up in the front windshield. I just want to do this. I can feel the wind in my beard. I can feel the wind in my beard. It was amazing. Head to the bunker. Oh, Kuda Papa, he took his test and stuff and became, I don't know, obviously he can tell you himself, but I don't know if he's a full-fledged pilot yet, but I think he wants to do commercial flights, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he's there yet, but he wants to do commercial flight. Could have used him on the way back from South Dakota when we were waiting for a pilot. Should have called him up. Hey, I need you to pilot a plane. All right. Let's switch gears to Borderlands. Actually, you know what? Let's switch gears. Would you guys want to talk about Borderlands first, or would you rather watch the skill ups video of Space Marines? All right, I'll let you guys pick. DMX says Space Marines. Altern says Skill Up. Here, we can do this. All right, there you go. There's a poll for you. Next story, 40K or Borderlands? Oh, I got a lot of stuff for Borderlands. There's always discussion, Z. You know me. There's plenty of discussion with Skillup's videos or the topic of Space Marines, or there would be plenty of talk for the Borderlands film. So far, 16 votes. That's half the people that are watching right now. Eclipse says, do the Borderlands first. Get that out of the way. I don't want to end on a sad note. But it'll be like a comedy. It'll be a comedy reading the reviews and stuff, Eclipse. Drama. No, Nate is going to... He's going to single-handedly bring Borderlands to the box office blockbuster. He's going to do it. He said yesterday he's going to see it twice with 20 of his friends. I'll give it a couple more minutes. Right now, we're at 68% 40K over the 32% Borderlands. Oh, there's so many. There is so many issues with this film, Vandal. Besides the director refused to come back for reshoots. There was story changes. There was scheduling issues. There was so many problems with this movie. At one point, I think they told Randy Pitchford he couldn't be on set. Well, Sarge is on your boat, Kurt. Sarge just wants to get drunk and go see it and have a fun drunk night at the movies. All right, so might be a fun reason to go eat popcorn and get out of the house, but I don't know. Is everyone asleep? Freaking answer the poll. Yeah, there's just... It barely moves. It's amazing to me. No, we don't live near each other, so he can't take me with him. The last movie I saw with Sarge in the theater was Top Gun Maverick. That's the last movie I saw with him in theaters. Flip says, I do have a movie theater where I can buy beer. That sounds like a good time to me. And only $5 tickets. Oh, that's nice. I don't have a theater like that by me anymore. If I pay $5 for a ticket, I might get shot. All right, we're going to end the poll. We're doing the 40K. 40K. Chojo says, I'm just going to throw it out there. Going to win Oscars. Like, is there a new award show? Like Oscar the Grouch type of stuff? Like, going to win an Oscar? Like, it's because Oscar the Grouch is in a trash can? He could. He could. All right, let's go to... Didn't they do like worst movie? Yeah, it's like a Razzie, isn't it? Like, isn't like the Razzie the thing that's like the worst stuff? All right, let me bring up Skill Up here.
Keyboards, mice, and headsets on the market. They just released an all-new, all-white model of their industry-leading, award-winning premium headset, the Arctis Nova Pro Wireless. Get 12% off this or anything else on the SteelSeries website when you use offer code SKILLUP at checkout. Click below to grab one now or stick around to the end of the video to learn more. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to say some bad stuff, and then I'm going to spend the rest of this video...
Uh-oh, he's going to say some bad stuff about it.
Absolutely gushing about this. The developers of Space Marine 2, Saber Interactive, were meant to host a public beta for the game's multiplayer modes. That should have been happening right about now. However, at the 11th hour, they cancelled that multiplayer beta, saying they needed the extra time to focus on shipping the game in its best possible state. But betas are one of the things that you do to make sure you ship a game.
Now, I know what people are thinking, right? Some of you, half of you are going, see, they didn't do the beta because they're working on the game to fix it. And as SkillUp just said, that's what betas are for, to test the game out. But because this is 2024 and the game people love, they know people love the Warhammer series, okay? They're going to push it out with the beta test not happening, and the beta test will just be when the game comes out. So the PvP, campaign stuff, the 3v3, the co-op stuff will all be tested once the game comes out
in its best possible state. So that was a little bit concerning. Now, I already played Space Marine 2, so I already knew this game was good, but to be perfectly honest with you, I actually underestimated just how good it is, but more on that later. The main question I had going into this latest preview build was, does this multiplayer stuff work? And right now, I'm extremely disappointed to tell you that it does not work, at least.
Okay, so the early access that he got, the multiplayer co-op stuff does not work. Okay. Now, I know what people are thinking. Again, they're going to be like, they'll get it working before day one. This is concerning to me. The reason I didn't play Halo Infinite when it came out is because co-op wasn't there when the game came out. They wanted me to pay full price for a game that always had co-op. They didn't have co-op in the game. And it went on my back burner. And we played it one night on stream about 8 months ago. And I still haven't even played the game of Halo Infinite because on day one, that game wasn't complete and it didn't have co-op. So as good as this game could be, I'm not paying full price because the entire content of co-op, PvP, if it doesn't work, I'm not giving you my money up front.
After over more than an hour of attempting to play co-op with someone else, the game would just not load the level. We'd be stuck in the hangar bay indefinitely, getting our Space Marine steps up, but killing very few Tyranids. The other guy I was playing with said he did manage to get a co-op session up and running at one point, but only once. This game is out in just over a month, and they gave us a multiplayer preview build where the multiplayer doesn't work.
They gave you... They gave you a multiplayer review, and the half of that doesn't work. Fantastic. It'll be fine.
After they just cancelled the multiplayer beta. I will also say that this build only gives us access to the co-op PvE missions. We do not have access to any of the 6v6 PvP multiplayer. When that goes live in a month, it will do so without any public testing and without any testing from media or content.
Do you hear what he says there? Okay, listen to what he's saying again.
We do not have access to any of the 6v6 PvP multiplayer. When that goes live in a month, it will do so without any public testing and without any testing from media or content creators.
No testing. They're just throwing it out there day one when the game comes out. No testing.
So all of that is obviously concerning, but I would say that I've seen similar things to this in the past for other games, where multiplayer seems really balked prior to launch, and then it's actually fine come launch. But I've also seen it go the other way
That's
a
correct.
lot. That way.
Right, it could go either way. It could work when it comes out, or it couldn't work when it comes out. The likelihood of working is less than working. Okay? Not working is more than working. Okay? And this is why you don't pre-order games. This is why you don't buy games day one anymore.
Where multiplayer modes are basically unplayable for weeks or longer. So TLDR, don't panic, but don't pre-order. That is a...
Hey! He said it! He said it! That's right, don't pre-order.
General rule of thumb for everything all the time, but especially here, given that the preview build meant to showcase the multiplayer was not able to showcase the multiplayer. So, with that out the way, I'm going to spend the rest of this video talking about everything other than online functionality, and I'm not going to refer back to that as some sort of caveat for all the things that I'm excited about, because I made my point with all that stuff already, and there's more to this game than just its online infrastructure. Is that alright? Alright, let's do it. Space Marine 2. As I said, I had already played this video game, and I thought it was awesome, and I loved it. And even then, I still had no idea just how good this was. This is so...
I like to say the first thing, that his footage looks 1,000 times better than IGN's shit thing that we watched yesterday. I don't know what IGN's doing with their compression ratio of whatever they're doing for their videos on their stream. This looks 1,000 times better than what we watched yesterday on IGN.
Unbelievably good that I am stunned. I think the easiest way to put it is this. Imagine Warhammer 40k Darktide was not only a really good game in terms of its gameplay and visuals and commitment to the source material, etc., but it also had all of the other shit it was meant to have at launch, like good performance on PC.
See, that doesn't look good. I know you guys are watching through YouTube, and I'm watching it, and I have it on high, right? I'm seeing this looks sort of like what IGN's footage looked like there.
And actual functional...
And then other times it looks brilliant.
Systems, and weapon unlocks, and meaningful class design, and more customization than you can shake a chainsaw at. Honestly, as someone who loved the core elements of Darktide but was frustrated by its myriad shortcomings, Space Marine 2 feels like this fucking impossible fever dream. It's like Warhammer games are not allowed to be this good. It's basically illegal. But if all this holds at release, then I am certain that this is going to be an all-timer in the
Is he talking too fast, or is it me? No, it's normal.
extremely patchy pantheon of Warhammer 40k games, but also just a straight-up fantastic third-person action game that's going to see a lot of new people enter the 40k fandom.
He's just excited. He's talking fast.
The God Emperor Henry Cavill's nerd army will swell bigger than his pecs on chest day, and existing Warhammer fans are going to be very proud to see the universe they're so invested in brought to life with such love and care and scale and ambition.
Yes, that looks amazing.
Okay, so the first thing we need to do is just look at this video game. Just look at it.
Yeah, it looks good.
Like, even if you don't give a shit about Warhammer 40k, you gotta admit that this looks fucking cool. The attention to detail on display here is staggering, with this monumental architecture meeting militaristic brutalism, with later parts of the level being buried under collapsed rubble or engulfed by chaos energy. The fine detail adorning just the Ultramarine alone is so impressive, but that scene
right there with all that swarm going on, so Gears.
care is present in everything. There is a love of the source material that oozes out of this, with every plotting step you take sinking you deeper and deeper into this universe.
You have disgraced yourselves by abandoning your brothers. Your punishment is dishonorable death.
Well, he usually goes over it. I haven't seen this video yet, Altern, but he usually goes over like how it runs and whatnot, and what it's running on.
I've now played 4 Space Marine 2 levels. The first was the preview I played last year. That was like a trench warfare style setting, a lot of fighting out in no man's land. This level here is a city under Tyranid siege, but much of the city remains intact, allowing you to appreciate the towering megalomania that 40k is known for. There's another city-based level I got to play, but that had a lot of industrial and infrastructure space as well, sending me into the bowels of the city. The
Noob Tech guy says, "Oh, Space Marine 2 is going to be a blast. I want to play PvP." As of right now, PvP doesn't work in the game. In the PvP build that he got, they got something to play the PvP and the multiplayer, and it didn't work for them, which is not a good sign.
The last one was a dense jungle biome that eventually led into a gigantic factory, culminating in a battle on the factory's footsteps that saw me holding off an entire Tyranid swarm. That feeling, by the way, of the swarm is one of the central pillars of this game, and it never stops feeling incredible. That moment when you reach a vista, peer out towards the horizon, and see a torrent of Tyranids racing towards you. This is not just an artistic skybox effect, by the way. The enemies that are coming towards you in these moments are real enemies.
Yeah, it's like a World War Z type of thing
that you can shoot. We first saw this tech with Saber's previous game, World War Z, where throngs of zombies would be on screen at any one point, and somehow the engine could still keep up with it all. Applying that same technology here has had remarkable results. The entire conceit of this campaign against the Tyranids is that they are this innumerable swarm, utterly endless and unstoppable if it weren't for the Ultramarines, demigods purpose-bred to secure the impossible victories that mortal men could never deliver, but that the Emperor demands. When I played that early preview last year, I played it on my own PC, an RTX 4090, and it ran like total dog shit. Just a...
There you go, Altern. Last year when he ran it, total dog shit on his 4090.
Abysmal, but back then I specifically said that I did not care about performance at that point because it was too early to worry about that stuff. Optimization would come later. I am extremely pleased to tell you that optimization has arrived, and on my high-end machine, Space Marine 2 ran absolutely flawlessly, maintaining a frame rate well above 60 while running at 4K max settings.
There you go.
I wasn't able to test it on lower-end PCs or consoles, so I won't comment on that, but I will say that on PC, the game does ship day one with DLSS and FSR2. The rest of the settings menu is what you'd expect, though sadly, no FOV adjuster. Not entirely uncommon for third-person games, but still would have been nice to see that.
One, I think because of the PvP element, they won't do the sliders. And two, at least you know that it runs butterly smooth on his rig. Now, if you don't have a rig like him, then, you know, each their own.
The game does support keyboard and mouse and controller, obviously. I tried both, and they were both perfect. No complaints there. Other than the multiplayer issues I mentioned at the top, I didn't have any technical issues while playing this, so fingers crossed the final release product maintains this level of performance and polish. Okay, so far we know that this game looks incredible and runs really well. Tick. One thing I was not prepared for was just how well written this game would be. So
there you go, Travis. Story. Runs smooth, gameplay is fun, and now story.
The campaign mission you're seeing here doesn't contain any of the cutscenes or in-game dialogue exchanges that were present throughout this mission, and it's a lot. No spoilers here, so don't worry, but the mission begins with Titus and his squad mates having a very tense conversation on board their landing craft, as Titus's patchy history makes his fellow Ultramarine
Argus says, on his 4,000 plus PC runs good. Got it. Yeah. So that's all you need, Argus. Just get $4,000 PC, maybe a $2,000 PC, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Quite uncomfortable. Throughout the mission, there are various little exchanges that ratchet up the tension, and these story threads are all brought to a head in that same mission during a boss battle at the end. Boss battle, by the way, So fucking cool. I really wish I could show it to you, but I'm not allowed. But the writing is what really grabbed me. It's thrifty and taut, utilizing the same economy of words that an ultramarine would employ. It pulls you into the world of 40k by seeding ideas and terminologies without burying you under them. I have a passing level of interest in 40k. I am by no means an expert, but I found myself fully locked in whenever these characters were talking about their previous missions, their battle tactics, their weaponry, their whatever. It's a sort of dialogue that will both reward existing fans and make new fans. But it's also just good franchise agnostic storytelling about a group of buff military dudes who are there to do a job and they don't trust each other and they got to figure all that shit out while also fighting a gajillion space bugs with their bare hands. It really works. In a single mission alone, this delivered more storytelling than the entirety of Warhammer 40k Dark Tide. And I'm sorry I keep dunking on Dark Tide, but the truth is, I love that game so much for what it is, but I'm also just super bummed out when I imagine what it could have been. Fat Shark specifically promised this extremely compelling Dan Abnett written story for that game. To say that we got nothing would almost be unfair to the term nothing. Space Marine 2, on the other hand, is putting its story front and center, and so far, every story beat, every cutscene, every bit of in-game chatter is just hitting so right, and I am desperate to experience this full campaign storyline for myself.
Guns sound good. It reminds me of Gears so much.
Having played that early preview slice last year, one thing that I noticed playing this week is just how far things have come in terms of core gameplay. It felt great even back then, don't get me wrong, but this larger slice showcased all the little intricacies that have found their way into the combat sandbox, from all new execution animations to new weapon types to new enemies to a dynamic ping system and heaps more stuff. The main thing you need to know though is that combat here feels glorious. It's a balance between ranged and melee combat depending on which class you pick, more on that later. But in the campaign missions, while playing as Titus, you're making use of the full sandbox, able to equip a vast arsenal of weapons from bolters to sniper rifles to heavy bolters to plasma guns and tons more. Each one of them feels great to use with their own handling profiles, ammo economies, and use cases. Throughout the missions, you're actually offered a few different loadout pods, which allow you to change your weapon loadout on the fly. On the lower difficulties, that probably won't matter much, but on higher difficulties, you're definitely going to want to switch to a weapon type suited to the moment. Incidentally, there are 4 difficulties available at launch, and that's for the main campaign as well as for the PvE co-op missions.
Okay, so lots of options for you to pick, based on your difficulty level, if you want easy to insane.
Combat is not just about shooting blindly into the chitinous mass, mind you. It's very much about prioritizing the bigger targets, which can deal big damage, knock you over, pin you down, or even call in for reinforcements. These one-on-one encounters with these bigger enemies often involve quite a bit of parrying, which is very easy to pull off given the on-screen indicators make it hard to miss the timing, and the timing is actually very generous. Getting it right sets you up for a point-blank shot that not only does big damage, but it looks pretty damn cool as well. The melee is extremely good. It's a bit of a go-to when you're squaring off against the smaller enemies since you want to save a lot of your ammo for the bigger threats, and it never stops being satisfying to carve a path forward with big meaty swings of your chainsword, your power sword, or just your Warhammer. Proud. Activatable abilities are an important part of the combat flow here as well. In this campaign mission, Titus had a sort of rallying cry that will buff damage output for a time, but later on that's replaced by a jetpack that will not only let you fly above the battlefield for clear sightlines, but will also let you do sick dive bombs that make bugs go splat. Oh yeah, and did I mention that there are Chaos Marines in this game? Here's what it's like to fight one and execute one.
That's cool.
Now, just to be clear about my expectations of this game, I went into this build expecting Space Marine 2 to be a linear campaign-focused game with, 10 to 12 missions I could replay on different difficulties. I knew there'd be some PvP because that had been earlier announced, and that's all I really expected. But then, I finished the campaign mission, and I got loaded into this battle barge hangar area. It's basically a hub menu, but a really pretty one. I really liked walking around it. It's there that I discovered that in addition to the campaign and the 6v6 PvP multiplayer, there's also co-op PvE missions called Operations, and these things position space.
That's cool. So there's more PvE stuff, right? Operations are in it.
Marine 2 as a sort of co-op shooter like Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood or Dark Tide or whatever, games with linear scripted missions that are intended to be replayed, supported by character classes with detailed progression and customization available for each class and each weapon that that class can use. So let me explain.
So I have a question. Is there a season pass and stuff for this game? Or is this a standalone game with DLC coming down the line?
So yeah, there is a campaign and it's centered on the main character, Titus. Honestly, don't know how the game plans to approach the question of his class.
Season pass and battle pass. Okay.
Or abilities or whatever. There was no evidence of any of
So the operations are going to be added. They'll add more operations as they go.
that stuff in the 2 campaign missions I've played, so I don't know if the campaign has a progression tree or whatever. Separate from the campaign are 6 3-player co-op PvE missions called operations. You can play them solo with bots, or you can invite 2 mates. You go up to a terminal in the battle barge and select one of these missions, and off you go. You will play through those missions using one of 6 classes. There's the tactical class, focused on a balanced weapon loadout, and it's able to scan enemies to deal bonus damage and reveal hidden targets. There's the assault, which is able to use the jetpack we saw in that campaign mission before. There's the vanguard, who uses a grapple to literally grapple towards enemies and dive kick them.
So wait, it's got season pass, battle pass, and it's got DLC coming?
My personal favorite, the Bulwark, who is this big shield bro and he can plant a banner to restore armor to your battle brothers. There's a sniper who can turn invisible, and there's a heavy who specializes in heavy ordnance and can drop a Titan bubble a la Destiny 2. Customization on offer here is out of this world. Each class has 6 different armor sets that look totally sick and are unlockable by just playing the game. In addition to that, there are
What? Unlocking stuff by playing the game? Say it ain't so.
collectible Astartes chapters that to you and me are just like recolorings of armor, but to Warhammer nerds, these are color palettes and iconography pulled from the vast volumes of Warhammer 40k lore. And even beyond that, there's a custom armor set maker that allows you to individually recolor every section of your armor. So you can have a green right arm and a blue left arm and a red chest and a black set of legs.
Do I have to pay $4 for each color once? Like the first Ascendant?
Purple trim on everything and different logos on every part of your armor, you name it. You can decorate these dolls with nearly the same freedom that you could if you were painting them, and most of it is freely unlockable just by playing the game. I did, however, notice a few of the recoloring options were locked behind DLC, which I'm assuming is like a pre-order bonus or a deluxe edition or whatever. About 20% of the recoloring options I saw were DLC specific, and I'm not sure what sort of long-term plans Saber Interactive has in regards to monetization of cosmetics, so we'll have to wait and see. Bottom line though, customization here is deep, and that's just the visual customization. Each class has its own perk tree that has perks for yourself and for your
Okay, I like the perk tree.
team and for your gear and for your signature ability. There are a total of 24 upgrade perks divided in different columns, and you can have 1 perk active in each column. So with the Bulwark, for example, I may want 1 perk that decreases damage taken by 25% when my armor is depleted, or I may want to do 25% more melee damage after I do a shield bash. The options here are simple but meaningful, allowing you to carve out a distinct identity and playstyle specific to that class. And that's before we get to the weapons. Every weapon in this game has 4 rarity tiers that aren't just the same weapon but like a different color or whatever. They're the same weapon but with better stats and with designs that look incredible. In addition to that, each weapon has its own perk tree with 16 different selectable perks affecting things like
I want to know, and maybe he goes into it, well, probably not because he didn't play PvP. I wonder if this goes into effect that what you do with these weapons in the campaign / PvE content, if it affects the PvP. I hope not. I hope they keep it separate.
handling, reload speed, damage output, and so much more. So 6 classes, each of them with 6 armor sets to earn, nearly unlimited visual customization, a class perk tree with 24 nodes allowing you to finesse a unique playstyle for each class, more than a dozen weapon types, each of them with 4 rarity levels that change their stats and their appearance, and each weapon has its own unique perk tree with 16 nodes. I had no idea that...
All right, real quick, I want to go back there for a second, because it says bolt rifle experience and a 0 of 28,600. Now, I wonder how many levels, because it looks like it says standard, right? Then it says 1,500 mastercraft, then 7,500 artifactor, and then it says relic 17,000. So I wonder if it's the bolt points that's the max. So when you hit the 28,600, it's maxed out in the 17,000 relic type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like all the way through the bar.
And each
or is it a separate thing where it says the mastery points that you have to spend as well? I would like to know more about that.
weapon has its own unique perk tree with 16 nodes. I had no idea that any of this was coming, no idea at all, and now I see that Space Marine 2 is not just a one-and-done campaign experience, and not just a 6v6 PvP experience, it's also a co-op shooter that wants me to play it for at least a few dozen hours as I unlock everything as I move through the 4 difficulty tiers on offer, the difficulty of each tier being tuned to recommended player level, maxing out at level 15. I don't know how those difficulty modifiers will change up each level, maybe they're all the same just with different HP for all the enemies or whatever, I don't know, that's not something I can answer right now, but I am very interested to find out how all of that works come launch. It is very rare that preview builds surprise you to this degree, especially this close to launch. Most of the time, you know what you're getting into, and it's less about what is this, and it's more about is this good? I had no idea I would be spending so much time during this preview discovering new things. Things that honestly really reshape my fundamental understanding of what this game is at launch and what it could be in the future. See, I have long believed, and I've said this many times in the past, that the way live services launch is generally shit. Companies promise a live service before they've even established a demand for that service. If the game you release is garbage, then it doesn't matter that you're promising 3 years worth of seasonal content. It's classic cart before the horse sort of stuff. The way to do it is like Deep Rock Galactic, which didn't promise to be a live service at launch, but it organically became something like...
Great game, by the way. If you've never played Deep Rock Galactic, fantastic game. And they have Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, which is like a vampire survivor type game, another great game.
That because people just wanted more stuff, and so the developers were happy to make it. Multiplayer network infrastructure aside, as I look at the underlying quality of this Space Marine 2 experience, and I look at the framework they've built for a class-based co-op shooter, I'm super excited to imagine that Saber might have long-term ambitions for this one. They have not announced any such plans. To be clear, Space Marine 2 is not a live service. It is a box product.
Is it? You guys just told me it was season pass and stuff. If there's a season pass, that means it's a live service.
Product that you pay for. There is no promise of future content, at least not so far as I know. There is no battle pass. This is just a straight...
He says there's no battle pass. You guys said there is a battle pass, so who's lying here? I'm going to go with you guys.
Straight up video game, but it has the scaffolding in place that if you wanted to organically grow this to become a live service, it could do that. And maybe Space Marine 2 becomes this living, ever-evolving experience that continues to deliver new adventures in the grimdark 40k universe. Obviously,
I will, Travis, when I'm done doing what I'm doing.
I just love this so much that I find myself excited to imagine that this game has a big future ahead of it. You know what I mean? Obviously, we have to keep our hype in check, in no small part due to those multiplayer issues, but just in general. But I've now played over 10 hours of Space Marine 2 across 2 different preview builds, and I've loved every single second of it both times. I'm really hoping that Saber Interactive can land this one, because if they can, then I think this is going to be huge. Space Marine 2 is out on September 9th. I cannot wait.
All right, so what he said, I'm actually pretty excited about what he said, besides the PvP and the... I'm not excited about PvP. That's just more stuff to play. But I'm a little concerned that it's not going to work. The co-op's not going to work correctly. Nothing infuriates me more than getting a game day one, paying the full price. Me and Sarge get the game, right? We're about to log in, and then all of a sudden, we can't connect. Oh, can't get in. All right, well, I got to back out. All right, you invite me. I'll invite you. And all the shit. If it does that, I'm getting a refund. Okay, I'm not going to buy it day one before other people tell me, because obviously Twitter and stuff will tell you servers are down, they're having issues. If it comes out day one in the morning, people are playing it, and by the time my gameplay at night comes out, if I hear good things about it, maybe I'll buy it day one. But I'm going to hold off personally, even because single player, because I said the reason I'm playing this game is so I can play it with Sarge and other people. Right, I like to do a group of people playing the game, going through the campaign and whatnot. Okay, I'm not interested in playing this by myself. After the fact, if I want to upgrade and do all the other stuff, cool. Okay. What I do like that he showed, there's a lot of stuff in this game. Let me go to the guns and stuff that he showed. Okay. One, you have plenty of different characters to upgrade. Okay. Plenty of characters to upgrade, to customize and whatnot. You got plenty of to level up each of the things for their signatures, their gear, their team, their core. You got plenty of guns and weapons to masterwork, and it looks like, and this is what it looks like now that I've seen this one, okay? The chain sword, okay, 793. So this is 1 bar across the whole thing. The max is 25,700. Once it gets here, I don't know what the mastery points are, but it seems good there. Couple currencies up here up at the top, okay? So the game seems like it has a good foundation. But again, I'm not going to support it day one if it comes out with a missing feature, excuse me, a missing feature of as co-op. It's sold as 3-player co-op during the campaign. And if I can't play that day one without any issues, I'm not giving you my money day one, personally. All right, let me check out what Travis sent me here. Warhammer 40,000 Space Marines 2 Gold Edition includes base game Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2, the Season Pass, and an exclusive Steelbook. What's the Season Pass? Superhuman skill, brutality, Space Marine, and defend. Spectacular third-person action soul. What is it, though? That's just the Steelbook Gold Edition. But what's the Season Pass? What's in the Season Pass? Salty sent me the extended. This is from Warhammer. This is from them themselves.
Swarm has entered the blast zone. Emperor, preserve us all.
I am honored to have Lord Titus command our unit.
This is just some
He
gameplay.
has clearly served long and with distinction.
There is sure to be an ambush. I have been dying to carve up some Xenos.
This footage looks a little blurry. It doesn't look high quality.
I can hear that Carnifex's slavering maw working.
Today, we slay a hive giant.
Stand behind me.
And again, I don't think it has to do with the game itself. I think it's the upload quality.
Butcher this one.
Hit that Carnifex with everything we have.
I'm going to lower this a little bit. This is what I'm talking about, though. If I can't do this day one because of connection issues or anything else, then I don't want to play it. If co-op is not working day one, I'm not getting it day one.
We broke the tyranny's disgusting champion.
Oh, and to answer your question, Travis, I'm not sure if Deep Rock Galactic is crossplay.
Take heart. The flame will stand against them better than any war.
Time to teach them fear.
Was it 4v4?
I am executing the Emperor's will, arm to arm with his finest.
Holds the advantage.
Engage on our terms only.
We lost one.
This is imperial territory. The traitors attack our terrain.
Refilling rounds.
They even run. They even run like gears.
The traitors attack our terrain.
Establish dominance.
Question: who's going to be the medic? Well, Sarge likes playing the medic. I don't think there is a medic, though, is there?
Do not give an inch.
Scott claims the objective.
Traitor kill confirmed.
Imperial Nazis assault our territory. New objective point.
Yeah. So it looks good. It looks good. Again, the only thing I'm worried about is that co-op stuff. If the co-op doesn't work, it's going to be really, really disappointed. Really disappointing. Noob Guy says, I didn't see anything up at Deep Rock Galactic Steam page about crossplay, so I don't think so. Yeah, it's a great game, though. And the community inside of Deep Rock Galactic, Travis, is very good. So, like, if you've never played before and you get in with a bunch of randos, it's a very good community inside that game. I'm a little worried about the gun stuff in PvP/PvE. Right? I would like to know more about that. Because if it makes that big of a difference, people that have more time are going to dominate more inside of PvP than the people that don't have the time. Both games are great, noob. Yeah. Deep Rock Galactic, Deep Rock Survivor. Really, I was really surprised about Deep Rock Survivor. Really surprised about it. All right, let me see what you guys are saying here. Yeah, sometimes I feel like well, that's my next question, right, Jason? The operations that you go on in this mission, in this game, there's 6 of them. I wonder how fast that's going to get overplayed. You know what I mean? Obviously, that happens with all games. But is there enough missions, like, for instance, when you're playing Diablo, you go through the campaign of Diablo, and then all the dungeons open up. And then to grind, you're just going to the dungeons, right? And you just go to the dungeons, and you play the dungeon over and over and over and over. And it gets a little bit old. Now, there's a lot of dungeons in that game, so that doesn't, you know, that's a good design. With a game like this, if you're playing and there's only 6... Once you play the campaign, you go through. I'm assuming those operations are going to be places that you've gone through the campaign. And then how many times are you going to go over and over to that operations to kill that boss, to do the thing, to level the gun, where there's only 6. The 6 will get repetitive really fast. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens with that. That's not really concerning, though. I think if the game's good, the price of the game is, you know, a regular $70 game. You play through the campaign. It's got PvP. It's got the operations. Good story. Good gameplay. I think all around, I think it's good for it. But once you're done with the campaign, once you're done with the stuff, is that going to keep people coming back to just the 6 operations to play over and over? Travis says, so I can't confirm, but rumor is that one of the planned DLCs is a horde mode like Gears. Okay. Is the DLC free, or is it paid after? Noob says, I don't see the multiplayer and co-op crossing over. I really hope they see separate. They keep separate. My problem though is when you level up that gun and you become mastery with that weapon. If that's your weapon, I hope PvP is just separate. It's just generic weapon, generic thing. You know what I mean? Like there's no levels of weapons inside of PvP. I hope it's just everyone's on the same playing field and it's just your skill. Ron says, hopefully Space Marines gets delayed so I can focus on my backlog. Yeah, I really hope it gets, there's too many games. I think they have to start delaying some more games so I can play some of my old games. It's going to start a trend that Avowed started a trend. It's paid. You only get the DLC if you buy the $90 edition. So that means the DLC itself is a $20 expansion, basically. You can buy it separate once it's out, Eclipse, but yeah. Okay, so you can buy it afterwards, but that's not in the game right away. So you're paying $90 for something that's coming down the road. We don't know when. Salty says it'll keep the same Darktide model. I don't know where this myth of DLC should be free came from. It's in the cosmetic, yes, but if it's expansion, no. You could pay for it. Well, it all depends. It all depends, right? So back in the day, and I agree with you 100% about DLC not paying or paying for it. Back in the day for Battlefield, you had to pay for the map packs and stuff like that. But then what happens is... then it separates the player base. So if you have 1 million people playing your game, and then only 250,000 people start to buy your DLC, and then you only play in the missions, so everyone can join into the multiplayer. But then the multiplayer starts to... Everyone has this map, and everyone has this map, but then the next rotation of the map comes in and says, oh, you don't have that map. You can't play that map type of stuff. Then it starts to segregate the player base, right? Because then it takes longer for people to find matches. Other people stop playing the game because the other matches are not full anymore because no one's playing the old maps. There's a whole bunch of stuff that happens. So when you have a PvP type of stuff, if they're going to keep putting PvP stuff in there that are not paid for in DLC for different maps and different boards, cool. Okay? If you're putting different game modes in for DLC, which is completely different than what's already in the game, then cool, pay for it, right? If I want more of that game in there, cool. But if it's a PvP type stuff and they're holding stuff back within that DLC, then that's a problem for the player base. The sexy steelbook? Man, I didn't think it was sexy, but... That? Okay. Eclipse says the Horde mode should be free. That's not DLC. That's added mode to the game. Early access is what you're buying, and I bet it will only be the campaign. Depends on how they've done Eclipse. It also said that they added the ability to set up a defense and such. That's new. Here, let me go look it up myself instead of taking... 2 months ago, Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 dev confirms it has no microtransactions. All gameplay content and features will be free to all players, and paid DLCs will be cosmetic only. There you go. That's from the devs directly themselves. Okay? All gameplay content and features will be free to all players. Paid DLC will be cosmetic only. Thanks for clearing that up. That's exactly why you go to the source, Eclipse. Not the hearsay, I say, this says, I said. I don't know why a season pass, if not planned expansions. Dev confirms it has no microtransactions. All gameplay content and features will be free to all players. Paid DLC will be cosmetic only, which kind of has no microtransactions, but the DLC is cosmetic only. I mean, whatever. Whatever. Salty says the season pass appears cosmetic only, but I've sent it you from their page in Discord. Okay, so this is from their page, pre-order. You got the DLC for the standard edition. So it doesn't matter. The DLC is part of the standard edition. It's part of the gold edition, the ultra edition, and the collector's edition. The 4-day early unlock, okay, is not for the standard edition. It's for the gold, ultra, and collector's edition. Base game is obviously the base of the game is in everything. Season pass, which we'll look at what the season pass is in a second, is only from the Gold, Ultra, and Collector's Edition. Champion Pack, Titus Statue is for the Collector's Edition, right? So that there's that stuff. Then you have Space Marine Collector's Edition, a collector's box, base game included, available on PS, Xbox, Series X, or Series or PC, Steam key. 4-day early access unlocked to play the game up to 96 hours before the release. Ooh. You get this kick-ass statue. Okay, the art and making of it for Warhammer Space Marines 2, 172-page book, and the official steel book. Don't say anything about the actual season pass. It just says season pass. Players who own the season pass will be awarded new Space Marine chapter champions as well as additional skins. Here's the thing, though. The season pass for the standard edition is part of it, isn't it? Chosen... Oh, no, it's not. It's not. It's not in the standard edition. So the season pass is $40, but we don't know what the season pass is. I'm so confused. But what's in the season pass? God's sakes, I closed the window. I wrote elsewhere the Gold Edition and higher has a season pass. It doesn't say so on the Steam page. What's in the season pass? What's in the season pass though? So they haven't said what's in the season pass. So yet another company that wants you to buy a season pass, but they haven't told you what's in the season pass yet. Like, that's a flag. I don't care how many people love Warhammer, 40K, and stuff like that. They're selling something they haven't told you what it is yet. That's a red flag to me. How good it looks and all these things, it doesn't tell you what the season pass is. I can't think of any company that told me ahead of time what the season pass had in it. And this is the problem. Even with those games, this is why I say don't pre-order. This is why I say don't buy the season pass a year ahead of time, because you don't know what's in the game when they're selling it to you. I've been where I'm at. I haven't changed my stance. Decryption is vague. The season pass will grant them even more cosmetics, while new content like missions, enemies, and weapons will be available to all players through regular free updates. So they have a season pass for cosmetics, but they said they're not selling microtransactions. So you're paying, there is no microtransactions, so you're paying the $20, $30, $40 extra for the season pass just so they can work on cosmetics to give you those cosmetics after the fact as the game is out for months and months and months. That's what I'm understanding. Yeah, it's just weird. There's like a season pass, but they don't tell you what the season pass is. It's just cosmetics. But we have no microtransactions. But we're selling you DLC, and we're not selling you microtransactions, so technically they're not selling you microtransactions. You're giving them $20, $30, whatever it is, and then they're slowly giving you those cosmetics over time. All right, well, speaking of shit, let's talk about Borderlands. Okay. So when the movie first came, when they first showed the first trailer, I said, "Oh boy, this looks bad." Okay. I said when they first announced Kevin Hart as Roland, I went, maybe he'll do like a Robin Williams type of role where he'll be serious and whatnot. And then we saw the first trailer, and I went, "This movie's gonna suck. Okay. So then, now, I don't respect IGN in any way, shape, or form. But this is where we're starting. We're starting with IGN, and we're working our way down. Okay? IGN gave it a 3. Okay? It says, Borderlands is an abysmal waste of beloved franchise that takes a kooky band of murderers, misfits, and drains the life out of the first adventure together. Okay? Some of the people in the comment section, when IGN gives you a 3 out of 10, you know you're in trouble. Okay? If IGN only gave it a 3, it must be a 0. Kevin Hart is in it. What did you expect? I'll watch it when it hits streaming service next week. Okay? So let's go with IGN's little review here. We have a couple other reviews here as well. So I'm going to read for it. If you're a person that wants to watch the movie and you don't want to be, I don't know if there's spoilers or anything in these things I'm about to read. So I would like to preemptively say if you are going to watch this movie and you don't want to be spoiled, these people could spoil it for you because I am reading through their reviews. Okay, so just putting it out there for you. Okay, I mean this title alone from this is GameSpot. Borderlands movie review, generic and disposable. Okay. Okay. Jason says F Randy Pitchford at Gearbox. Salty says not a 7. Travis says Kevin Hart playing Kevin Hart isn't rolling. he's just playing Kevin Hart. Salty says, well, they hated Deadpool 2, so sure. But this is why we're not just going with IGN. We're going down the gauntlet here of all the other people talking about it. Now, again, maybe the fans will love it. Maybe the fans will love it. Okay. It's going to win an award. You're right, Nate. It could win the Razzie Award, which is not an award you want to win. But it could win an award. You're absolutely correct. All right, so let's read Borderlands review. This is a tutorial on how not to make a video game movie. Awesome. Okay. There's no such thing as a video game adaptation curse, but there are awful video game adaptations. Take Borderlands, for example. Eli Roth's hideous as sin recreation of Gearbox's software beloved looter shooter franchise belongs on the scrap heap. I call it cosplay / the movie, except that the insult to professional cosplayers who actually miraculously transform into Mad Moxie or Tiny Tina and other Vault Hunters with award-winning results. Rock's inexcusable, dull, one-dimensional core of movie captures none of the creative chaos, exploration, or action-packed hilarity of the games that inspired it. That says a lot. That says a lot. He said a lot there. Okay. Literally just shitting on the thing, the entire paragraph. Okay. It says the film operates like Borderlands 101, focusing on Cate Blanchett's grumpy bounty hunter Lilith. Roth and co-writer Joe Crumby replaced an original co-write Craig Mazin, whose name mysteriously vanished from the project in 2023. These are some of the problems I talked about when they were talking about it. They had to rewrite stuff. They dropped certain things. There was a lot of turmoil going on while making this movie. Okay, so they got rid of one of the writers. The Gearbox interpreting world building is disappointingly linear fashion. All the excitement of traversing Pandora's stag-ridden territories and psychopath outposts as Roth boxes his characters into a single mission. Lilith is hired for business titan arms manufacturer, okay, to find a daughter of Pandora, and the daughter ends up being a dainty demolitionist, Tiny Tina. Okay, but it's true, Borderlands fashion, Lilith's objective isn't just about recruiting Tina from the former mercenary Roland, Kevin Hart, or Psycho Craig. Okay, there's also an ancient vault where Tina might be the 3 required keys to opening it. Roth's movie blends together plot points that span Borderlands timeline, but experience a regrettably simplistic. It's only a matter of time before Lilith, Tina, Roland, and Craig, also everyone's favorite mouthy robot, Claptrap, voiced by Jack Black, form a vault hunting squad. Between the eventual tours of Chrism Lance soldiers, okay, the massive Thresh would swallow a hunter whole. The mission seems daunting, but any challenge that faces is a breeze. As what's his name says, is it a problem? No, it's barely an inconvenience type of thing. Lilith lucks into a crucial artifact by opening a single drawer. Roland avoids, could also be certain psycho-inflicted death off camera. Any sense of Pearl. Also, like watching gameplay on God mode in Infinite Lives, except these characters don't even take damage. So what's the point? So there you go. That's Hollywood 101. Like, write a character, but they're gods, basically. There's no emphasis on, oh my god, something could happen here. Nothing. There's no story build around these characters. They just kind of throw you up explosions, do things just for that. And if that's the movie you're looking for, then maybe it's a movie for you. Okay? So the internet is full of Borderlands fan fiction and is more inspired by Roth's vanilla nostalgic fest. He directs action sequences like he's posing action figures, instruction Blanchett to poser, hips cocked, as Lilith were also Marauder Barbie. And the characters' costumes are always, despite enduring a battlefield wear of tear, explain away the silly electric shower. So their costumes stay perfectly in mint condition. Their hair doesn't get messed up. There's no change in the characters while they're doing all of this stuff as well. It says here that Ross Production doesn't generally invest in the universe Gearbox has built, so why should we care about the execution of sci-fi adventure? You'll ride, Marcus. Bus spot on. The gender Pandora locals like Chaos Caverns, but also spoof familiar and filling it as a single rice cake. Visually, Borderlands is one of the ugliest studio releases you'll see this year. Even in IMAX, Pandora's dusty digital backdrop resemble pixelated vomit. There's an early scene where bunny-eared Tina tosses explosives, stuffed animals, and Lilith from above, and the green screen from Green Blant atop of her junkyard perch doesn't even attempt to be believable. Plug Tina into place. Later, it's Atlas confronts the unlikely heroes. It's like Roth shot them against an LED wall. Probably did. Probably used the volume. Most attractive features. And so why would you drown the movie's opening sequence in dimly lit murk? At least for the wardrobe department, nailed the assembly's outfits and also burst in signature colors. But even those looked like trash against the washed out eyesore landscapes inserted during the post-production. So there you go. In all honesty, Borderlands feels incomplete. Roth's storytelling rushes forward with a conspicuous briskness as a crucible building block we're missing from this plot. Maybe those 2 weeks reshoots under film director Tim Miller shaved Roth's vision down to what it is here. And what else could it deserve? A portrait of the end credits is a barely last-minute cameo in the movie, something not adding to the Gearbox games or dense, expansive, brimming, or freedom to get buck wild. So there you go. The verdict, Borderlands is an abysmal waste of beloved franchise that takes a kooky band of murderers, misfits, and drains the life out of their first adventure together. Eli Roth is no James Gunn, and his film has non-lovable lunatics. Sci-fi is out-of-this-world storytelling, Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy. The hyper-stylized flair of the Borderlands games is replicated only by the most superficial level, and with the PG-13 rating, all the limb-serving gore, dirty-minded humor, uniquely deranged themes are replaced by recycled blandness geared towards mass marketability. It's the worst-case scenario of Borderlands movie goes against everything Borderlands stands for in the series, a miserable failure. Oh, this seems like a bunch of nice words. That seems like a bunch of really nice words. So, I usually don't trust IGN. So let's just read a couple of paragraphs here from GameStop stuff, see what they have to say. Okay, we're in a new era in which video game adaptations are seen as just likely to be good in any other nerdy thing, whereas many of us used to assume that a video game movie would undoubtedly suck. At this point, there's been enough good ones that the conventional wisdom has changed. Despite the general shift in Borderlands movie feels more like a product of the old era, and most of the game adaptations generic disposable action movies at best. It frequently is some worse than that, and generic and disposable is exactly what Borderlands is. Let's see here. Let's talk about Claptrap. Claptrap, who's probably one of the most iconic characters from games, the video game version of Claptrap was originally voiced by former developer at Gearbox, David Innings, who replaced what they sound like in Borderlands 3, but instead of getting somebody who sounds like Claptrap, the movie has got Jack Black's voice as part of and it's awful. For a few minutes near the beginning of the movie, I was kind of getting into the vibe, but as soon as Claptrap introduced himself to Lilith, the whole thing felt doomed. Okay, it's hard to say that the fatal flaws in Black's version of Claptrap perhaps is completely unable to match the Claptrap's established candidates of tone. So what plays more than a new annoying Star Wars droid? But having him there turns the whole movie askew, especially since he gets nearly all the joke attempts. Okay, it's frustrating to see filmmaker Eli Roth, who often gets the axe of the horror films, like The Last Thanksgiving, but it's often in recent years he's making stuff like this, The House with the Clock of Walls, and also the remake of Death Wish. In short, Anonymous Studios' jobber work isn't very good, and it has no real authorship. Borderlands, likewise, is generic, mid-budget CGI slop that looks like rather cheap episode of The Mandalorian such at times. After the years of re-editing and around reshoots by different filmmakers, there's not much filmmaking craft left on display. Fantastic. Okay. Let's go to Rotten Tomatoes. Let me refresh this just in case they've actually added stuff. There you go. 30 reviews. 30 reviews from actual... It's not out to the public yet until today, right? Till night. 30 reviews, 3%. 30 reviews, 3%. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. All right. Ron says, watch the movie and form your own judgment. Don't let IGN determine what's good or bad. Yo, you're absolutely right, Ron. This is why we're not reading just IGN stuff. This is why we're reading a bunch of different reviews from people that write for outlets, and this is why we're doing it. I think the whole casting for this movie, Vandal, is seriously miscasted for the entire film. Majority of the time, I don't listen to critics anyway. Sure. You don't have... You could go spend your money on this. 100%. Right? And when you pay the money to go play a bad... Or, buy a game that's bad. Or watch a movie that's bad. You don't have to justify it to anybody. Right? You don't have to justify it to anybody. You can like what you like. But the way that business works... Business... is the majority of people that are interested in your stuff have to like your stuff to make money. Okay? That's all I'm saying. If you're a person that likes what you like, cool. But you're also not the person that's making the thing. The person that's making the thing has to make money. If it doesn't make money, it's a failure. Regardless if you or me like it, the majority of the population hates it, then it's bad. Right? People can hate Helldivers, but it sold 12 million copies. Right? People can hate Hellblade, it sold whatever copies. If the majority of the people didn't play it or didn't buy it, then it's a failure. If the majority of the people bought it and it made money, then it's a success. Is this movie going to be successful? It doesn't look very good. It doesn't look very good. Eclipse says it has a 3%. That's crazy, especially when it comes to the critics. They gave Acolyte an 80. 3% out of 30 people right now. Okay. Let's just read some of the little blurbs from these critics. Okay. Totally messy narrative, janky, slathered with pasted over narration and risk of creative indecisions. Okay. The film is embarrassing fares of even the most hardcore of gamers. The next person says, has Roth botched an attempt to make a multiplex hit from an edgy nugget intellectual property? Almost certainly yes. But there's a faint, stubborn signs of something more interesting. Blanchett's charisma is unlikable and occasional Larry, whatever. Okay. Next person says, if Borderlands, the worst film of the year, it's definitely in contention. So laughably bad, in fact, that it feels like being capulated back to a time when video game adaptations were byword for mediocrity. Okay. Next person says, Borderlands is what out-of-touch executives thinks as cool kids would find appealing. Once obnoxious quip after another, and it feels outdated as soon as it's uttered. The next person, okay, it all looks like celebrities participating in Borderlands theme escape room instead of an actual movie. Grace Randolph, people like Grace Randolph. Here she goes. She's got it in a positive. She says, I've never played the games, but I got a kick out of Blanchett starring in a movie like this and doing a great job. I do wish the script had been adjusted a bit better for accommodations her age. Blanchett fans will enjoy this. Not sure about any time else. Any time else? Not sure about any time else. Anything else? That doesn't make sense. Fans will enjoy this. Not sure about any time else. Interesting. right? So she likes it because she doesn't know what Borderlands is. So there you go. If you know nothing about Borderlands, then you might like it. You might like it. She's the only person. She's the only person out of the 30 reviews to give it a non-shit rating. Okay. In an age of CGI slop, Borderlands gets points for crafting a vibrant post-apocalyptic setting. It's just a shame that it all adds up to Guardians of the Galaxy with worse jokes. Okay. It's got a messy narrative, janky slather, pasted all over the narration. Okay, we already read that one. Already read that one. Is Borderlands the worst film? We already read that one. There's also a snatch of crude enjoyment to be had if you venture in a basement level expectations. So there you go. Just keep your expectation at a basement level. You'll be okay. Okay. Let's see. This band of outlaws just aren't much fun to be around. Since the characters remain one-dimensional, not much more than cartoonish gamer avatars, we're never terribly invested in their survival or the quest to get their vault first. Okay? A definitive worst film of Roth's career and another strike against the AAA games bought on the big screen. Okay? Borderlands so wants to be Guardians of the Galaxy, but it doesn't come even close. Okay? Peter here says, when done right, such biting itself parody can serve to excuse tired storytelling. Atlas Borderlands arrived so close to on the heels of Deadpool and Wolverine that it feels like a belly flop to that film's cannonball. It's dragged us back in time to the studios that used to make these all the grace to the drunk person attempting to place a 3 a.m. chicken nugget order. There you go, Sarge. There you go. If you're drunk, you might like it. Is to Guardians of the Galaxy and Fury Road what Solar Babies is to Road Warrior. Ultimately, Borderlands fails to deliver a cinematic experience it should. It's one of Roth's weakest films, ordering a little excitement or laughs. Another person here from Looper says the movie feels like a string of sequences in a video game, but since you're not playing, it feels tedious instead of inspired, dull instead of gripping. Taylor Gates here from Collider says it's just disappointing that the source material has so much more to offer in terms of later characters and complexity themes and trauma of survival, and the film seems to either uninterested or it's incapable of tapping into it. This guy's got 2. Oh, he wrote 2? No, it's the same. Okay. So an hour plus of noise, lame wisecracks without tension or sense of purpose. Borderlands would be Exhibit Z in the argument that video games don't transfer well to cinematically. It's a decent effort, like The Last of Us for Fallout hadn't proved otherwise. Right, so if those shows didn't come out, this might be actually a better take, right? There's nothing about this movie that makes even remotely interested in playing the game, and for that alone, Borderlands is indeed an epic fail. It's impressive how Roth capped like the poor quality of 2000 video game adaptations energy, yet somehow forget discernible sense of fun or style that made it even worse. Terrible movies stand out. Eli Roth's assemble of a messy sci-fi shoot-'em-up that is unlikely thrilled devotes the game's newbies to the fantasy world and rips off Mad Max, Avatar, and Star Wars. Borderlands is the worst kind of bad movie, the type that devoid any kind of offbeat quirks that could propel it into a second life as a cult classic, feeling insufferable, overlong, and a brisk of 102 minutes because it's so sheer lack. Well, there you go. This one person basically disproved what I said it could be. Maybe it could be so bad that it becomes a cult classic, but he says it can't even do that. It can't even do that. So I think that's the best review so far. Okay. Sure, there are tons of Easter eggs and visual references for video games, but the fans deserve a lot better than with whatever director Elon Roth is trying to do Borderlands. This video game movie cursed as its worst. I bet you this dude just got paid to do this and left. Right? He didn't give 2 shits. This was a paycheck because nobody else would do it. We got 2 more. Elon Roth's directing feature felt as though I was watching one of Gunn's Guardians entries, minus the work put into making them funny, memorable, dramatically compelling, and let alone interesting in any way beyond admiring the casting director efforts. Okay. And the last one is, if Borderlands doesn't stop studio executives from salvaging at the sight of every single IP that comes across the desk, nothing will. Wow. So there you go. That's a lot of stuff there. You know, have fun watching the movie. Have fun watching the movie. Again, enjoy what you enjoy. But I'm pretty sure that the majority of the population and this movie definitely will not be number one at the box office this weekend. And it probably... I don't think it'll beat the Marvels. I don't think it'll beat the Marvels. And the Marvels was a bad film. Like, it didn't make money. Vandal says, Roth looked like he wanted to strangle Pitchford on set. Yet, no, there was at one point that Pitchford was told to leave. He wasn't allowed on set. They did a bunch of reshoots without the director. They brought a separate director in. They got rid of one of the main writers. There was days on set that they went over. They didn't complete certain shots and whatnot. Salty says, so drinking beer and living in a basement, double. Got it. There you go. Bobby Lee's in it. So that's something, I guess. Like, did they try to make this like a super comedy? You know what I mean? Eclipse says, I don't even think it'll be three in the box office. I mean, Twisters 2 might I'll do it again. Right? Let's go look at the box office stuff. Yeah, that's quite a bit of difference, right? So in week... Here, let me go back to... Okay, so Friday, August 2nd, the dailies... Well, actually, we'll go to the week, right? August 2nd to the 4th. The difference between Deadpool and Twisters, 96 million to 22, okay? August 2nd, Deadpool made 28 million and Twisters was 6.6, and that was third. Okay. We're talking like on the 6th it made 13. That's 2 days ago. Today's the 8th. 13 and 3. Despicable Me 2. I think Borderlands is in trouble. I think it's in trouble. Yeah, because there's no way this movie, Despicable Me 4. Let's see, this is brought in 759. That's on its tail end here. That's making about 2 million. So it'll probably make, what did it make last Friday? 4? Yeah, it'll probably make around this again, about 3 million or whatnot. You got Despicable Me 4. You got Twisters. Okay. You got Twisters in there. You got Deadpool and Wolverine. And now you got Borderlands coming out. It's not going to be a good shot for them. They're definitely not going to get number 1 at the box office, which... When a movie comes out, it needs to make 80 to 90% of their money up front on the first weekend. It's gonna be a rough weekend for them. Let it be its own thing comparing to other movies. The only reason I'm comparing it to other movies is the box office. I'm not comparing it like this movie should be like Guardians of the Galaxy or anything like that. I'm comparing it to what the reviews are, to what movies are out, and where it's going to land. That's what I'm comparing. Just like it's very important for a game to come out, like if Grand Theft Auto came out like this week, you would not put another game anywhere near that, because it doesn't matter if people want to play it or not. You do not put your movie next to another blockbuster film, because that blockbuster film is going to drain potential resources that could have went and see your movie, but they're going to go see the other movie, especially since the other movie is getting good reviews. Well, Twisters has made 81 million opening weekend. It's actually pretty good. Now, we'll go look at what the reviews are for Twister. Okay. It's got 281 million. All right, Twisters. Twisters right now is a 75%. Okay. 75% and a 91%. So overall, it's like an 80, 81, right? Right? About an 81, 82. Okay. I always take this number and this number. Okay. I always take this number and then go halfway. And that's about what it is. Okay. So if you see like one side really hate it and the other side really love it, it's about a 50%, right? Well, this is not starting off very good. If it's not starting off very good when Borderlands itself is starting, it moved up to a 4%. Okay. 4% from this. I wouldn't be surprised if the studio shuts down Rotten Tomatoes, where they won't let people show what they like. They'll probably silence it because it's so low. Vandal says Borderlands will have less viewers than Concord. Impressive. Twister wasn't terrible. Yeah, I don't think it was terrible either. Like I said, I think 91% of the fans voted, and then 75% of the actual critics. And I think it's okay to compare a movie if they're trying to be a Guardians of the Galaxy. And we actually said that. You can go back to when we first showed the trailer. And I said, it has a Guardian of the Galaxy type of feel. Because that's what they're trying to go for. Right. It did look like they were trying to emulate Guardians. Yeah, it 100% did. So it looks like this is a wait till it's free on Steam or stream when I'm trying to go to sleep. Potentially, Roic. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. Who owns the rights to this? Borderlands? Like who filmed it? Lionsgate's the distributor. But who's the... Lionsgate's film is distributed by Lionsgate and Lionsgate Film, but who... So I guess it's Lionsgate. Just Lionsgate. This is gonna be bad for them. Twister in 1996 made 494 million. What did that get rated as? Yeah, look. Back then, Twister, which I like as a movie, right? 58% of the audience and 66% of the reviewers. Okay? I would agree with that. It's not a good movie, but it's not a bad movie. I enjoyed watching Twisters back in the day. No, this is not going to... No, Travis. This is definitely not going to close down Lionsgate. Not even close. Again, the formula of filmmaking is... If I looked up how many films that Lionsgate has coming out this year... Hold on, let me see. This year alone, Lionsgate Films has 37 titles. 37 titles. Okay? So out of that, 21 of those films, well, 25 of those films, okay? Because for every 10, you're only getting 3 movies that will make some money. So they're going to have 9 films, maybe 10, because they're at 37. So we'll just give them 9, right? They'll have 9 films that make money, right? One of those films, or 3 of those films out of those 9 films, will make more money than all the other films in that category, right? So let's say they had 10 films come out in the first quarter, okay? 3 films will make profit, but 2 of those films just barely make profit. One of those films will make a shit ton of money, which will cover the shitty 7 films that happen. So they have 37 films coming out. It's a numbers game for the studios. They put out as many films as possible because they know that 21 of those films, 25 of those films are not going to make any money. Okay? Then with the remaining 9 or 10 films, they know they're going to make a little bit of money with 6 or 7 of them, but 3 of them are going to make a good amount of money for them. Quintar says, saying Lionsgate is going away is like saying WB is done for. Well, WB actually might be done. It's a bad example, Quintar. That is a bad example. WB is actually struggling where AOL didn't want them, AT&T didn't want them. Okay, now they tried to merge them in with somebody else. They're having massive issues. We'll talk about that more tonight on Generation X Gaming. So WB is actually not a good example to use. Yeah, movie studios, the way they make the money is by putting as many things out as possible. It's a numbers game. $30 says, 30, how on earth for an opening weekend is only 2 tickets sold? Where's this at, Travis? Does Blumhouse do the same thing? No, there's a difference between, Roic, what Blumhouse is. Blumhouse is a independent studio, right? But the publisher, the distributor, I should say, the publishers in video games, distributor is in right? The studio is the one pumping the money in. Blumhouse is like, if I had a studio called 30 and Still Gaming Films, okay, I'm that making the film, but I'm not funding the film, right? I'm not funding the film. The money's coming from the actual distributor, the studio, right? It's my studio that's making it, but it's their studio that's funding it. So it's in association with Blumhouse, right? They're not anywhere near what like a Fox studio was, or MGM, or WB, or Lionsgate, or any of that. The clip says, I'm actually kind of excited that they're selling IP for different video game companies. We might get some good video game. They're selling the IP for the video game, but not the IP itself. Remember that. They're selling the IP of Harry Potter for video games. Like, they could sell Hogwarts IP, right? And then someone would purchase that, but they're not selling the IP of Harry Potter. Nate says, I buy my tickets when I get there, although I might have to call and make sure it didn't sell out. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it will. Let's look right now in my local area. We did it yesterday, but now it's today, right? And people are excited. They're seeing the reviews. They're seeing the reviews of Borderlands. They're like, dude, this sounds right up my alley. I got to go watch this. Let's go see. Today, August 8th. Let's go. I don't want to show you where I live, so I'm gonna click on 5:45 p.m. The first showing is 3 p.m. First showing is 3 p.m. in the Standard Theater. Let's go live to the theater. Packed house. Okay. You got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 people, right? Get your seats now. That's right by me, and that's an okay theater. Okay, that's an okay theater. Let me go to where the people really go. Right, let's go to the 5:45. Maybe after work, people are gonna go. They said, you know what? I get off work today. I really got to go see Borderlands. Okay, 5:45. We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 people. Maybe the 14 people from the first showing are going to go see it again because they just know it's going to be just amazing. Okay? Maybe. They added one. Let's go to the 8:30 p.m. That's after people have eaten. They got full tummies. They're like, you know what? Let's go see this theater. Let's go. Okay? Let's see how many people are in this theater. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 people. That's amazing. 14 people. Maybe this is the same 14 people that saw the first showing, the second showing. They're going to watch it 3 times in one day. Okay? That's 14 people in those things. And let's go to the 11:15 showing. Right? 11:15. These are the stoners, the drunks, the people that are really getting off. Okay? And this is the 11:15 showing. That's Sarge. Sarge is right there. That's the one seat that Sarge is going to get. He's going to be the only one in the theater at 11:15, drunk off his ass, watching Borderlands. He doesn't live anywhere near me. That's not really Sarge. Okay. But let's go to the big theaters. Let's go to City Walk, right? 3 p.m. today, Universal City Walk, big theater. Okay. Lots of people want to go there. Gigantic, thousands of people. Oh, it's a small theater and 4 people. Okay. Let's go to something else. Let's go to the 6:15 one at the same theater. Let's see. Let's see if it's in a bit. Oh, that's a small theater and no, there's nobody there. There's nobody there. All right, let me go to maybe the 8:20 show is going to be much better tonight at the opening weekend for Borderlands. Oh, no. 2 people. Okay. All right, and yesterday we did look at Disney Springs. Disney Springs is a huge theater. We'll do the 7:15 showing at Disney Springs. Lots of people there. And here you go. This is the first thing. Now, this is Disney. There's a lot of people there. Tens of thousands of people cross. And it's like, oh, let's go. They're on vacation. They do this stuff. So there's the first theater, and I would say that's almost a complete sellout. Okay, complete sellout. And that's at 7:15 tonight. So there you go. So they're at least making, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Double that. It's 40, 50, 60 seats at $10 a pop. So they're making a whole whopping $600 tonight. Nate, the fact that, in this day and age, I understand people still buy tickets when they go to the theater, but the fact that you still think that in this day and age where technology and people pre-order their video games are not pre-ordering tickets, okay? The majority of people are not pre-ordering their tickets for their movie that they're super excited about. You're telling me someone's super excited about going to this film and they haven't bought their tickets yet. Is that what you're trying to tell me? Like, you have to see that there's no excitement for it. Deadpool and Wolverine, theaters were sold out weeks before. That's because no one cared about Wolverine and Deadpool. They were sold out weeks before. Yeah. I mean, you could troll and you can defend it all you want, right? But you have to look at it. You have to look at it and say nobody cares. Nobody cares. Just like my stream. There's millions of people that watch my stream, Nate. There's millions of people that watch my stream. There's only 34 people in here now. But there's millions of people that watch my stream. Right? There's not a million people that are watching my stream. Because no one cares. Or I shouldn't say no one cares. The majority doesn't care. At least you might pre-order in the concessions. I bought 5 tickets online for Deadpool and Wolverine. They're going so fast leading up to it. Yeah. That's because people were excited about the film. Argus says, give yourself some credit. There's at least 40 in here earlier. Well, thanks. I don't look at this. I don't ever look at the number. I just happen to look up and see it. You know what the best part about people in my generation and Generation X, Argus, is that we are self-deprecating. We are okay making fun of ourselves, and we also don't give a shit about making fun of anybody else. Like, we are a different bunch. If you're a Gen Xer, you know what I'm talking about. It's too early for the movies. You understand that, again, when something's popular, Nate, people buy the thing. It's sold out. Nobody cares. Altern says, really? I thought this was a famous streamer YouTube channel. Goodbye, sir. I only hang out with the famous people. All right, Altern, I'll see you tonight. See you tonight at 8 o'clock. No, I am averaging higher. We are averaging higher, Argus. I'm actually, Travis, I'm actually really excited, right? Because I love to see movies that do really well and like how high they can get. But I also like to see how bad movies are and see how bad they get, right? Again, people like to say video games is hard. Like it's an amazing feat that movies get or video games get made. As a person that works in the film industry, I can say the exact same thing. Movie making is hard, okay? And to put a movie together and put it out on the big screen, to see them bomb as much as they do, that is extremely hard. To make a movie so bad it does that bad. It's exciting to watch. It really is. I don't ever want a movie to bomb. I love theaters. I want a movie to do good. But there's just you can't capture it. It just does it on its own. A movie's either popular or it's not. It's like the Gollum game, right? It's just so bad. It's just so bad. That's right. That's right, Altern. Same time, 8 o'clock. That's right. It's a train wreck. You can't help but watch it. It's like, is this really going to be this bad? Nate says it. I agree. This movie's going to be exciting. Yeah, it's going to be really exciting to watch. I can't, like, I'm really hoping it's less than Marvel's. Like, it might be less than 100 mil. That's going to be impressive. Exactly. It's exactly right, Travis. Sometimes the game, you don't want the game to fail, but sometimes it earns the Kong skull. That game, Gollum, the Left 4 Dead, not the Left 4 Dead game, the Walking Dead game, they're just so bad. Is everyone in IMAX? Oh, you want me to go look at an IMAX? Let me go see. Let me go see the IMAX. Because people love going to IMAX, right? They love going to IMAX. Let's go look at the IMAX theater. Got an IMAX 445 today. 445 today. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. What are these people doing? Why the hell would you sit here on the edge when you could get here in the middle? Oh, what are these? God's sakes, are these bots buying tickets? What's happening there? Happening. Here's the 10 o'clock show. This is the 10 o'clock IMAX. What is this guy doing? This guy right here. What is he doing? Oh, can I not make it bigger? Right? What is he doing? The center's here. He's here. What? Who would buy a ticket? Like, see, this guy knows what he's doing. What the fuck is this guy doing over here? What is this guy doing? This guy and this guy never been to a movie theater before. These two people have never been to theaters before. This guy was like, you know what? I want to sit in the middle, but not really. I'm going to pick here. What? You see how everyone sits in the center? These three are weird. I don't know why they didn't pick these three seats, but whatever. Each their own. He doesn't. He doesn't want to walk that much. Yeah, he had to walk through the parking lot, through the mall, into the theater, get in the concession stands, up the stairs. Like, I'm just gonna pick that seat there. I don't want to walk any further, even though I have the entire movie theater open. I don't want to walk anymore. So ridiculous. You know what I should do? I want to look at a theater. Let's see. Let's go to Los Angeles, California. Right? Let me pick that's the movie capital of the world here. Okay? Let's go to this theater here. Let's pick the 7:45 tonight. Let's see what's happening in LA. That's not good. Not good. It's not good. Not good. That's a very popular place. Not good. Z says, and Kevin Feige didn't want the movie to happen. It goes to show you exclusives are just trying to make their own stuff look good instead of being happy that Marvel anything would be doing great. The Marvel's film literally bombed. It's the worst Marvel film they've ever created. Based on the budget compared to what it made. Obviously, like Black Widow, Shang-Chi. And you know what I love? You know what I love? I love that people, when we go back to box office, I want to show you this for a second. Right? The box office mojo. I love when people, and we were obviously streaming and had conversations about this. Right? Shang-Chi, when it came out in 2021, they were like, this movie did amazing. 75 million opening. Like, that's not amazing. That's not amazing. And during that time period as well, because of the whatever of the bubonic plague that happened. Okay, it ended up making $432 million. Okay, $432 million. But with the budget of the film, with the incentives that they took as well, okay, it made about 17 million profit wise. Okay, which is pretty impressive for back then. Okay. But then you look at the Marvels. Not during a pandemic. Not during anything, right? Like, movies are making money again. And you see this come out, and you're like, holy Christ. $180 million. $180 million to make this movie. And it made 206. It's one of the worst, if not the worst, Marvel film in existence. It's too hot in Florida to go to the movies. That was L.A., Nate, the one I just showed you. That was L.A. That wasn't Florida. And yet Borderlands is praying for Marvel's numbers. That's what Sarge said last night. They would love to hit that number. Altered says, I already walk too much going here. I just sit on the border. And people ask me permission to walk in. I'm on the same row, right? That guy did not want to walk any further. He was like right up, not up the stairs, like that first row type of thing. He's like, I don't feel like going up any stairs. We're picking this seat right on the corner. Nate, the question is not that it's going to lose money, but how much money is it going to lose? That's the real question. Hey, how about this? I'll do a little I'll do a friendly wager with you. Okay? A friendly wager. Let's take a number. Does it beat the Marvel's opening weekend of 45 million? Because that's a bad number. That's a bad number. Okay, 45 million. If it beats 45 million, I will gift 5 memberships in my chat. Okay? If it doesn't beat 45 million this weekend, then you have to gift 5 memberships. All right, so 45 million. Okay? Because the Marvels, technically this is the number I want. It has to beat this number because this movie flopped big time. Okay? This is 46 million. I'll give you 45 million. If it beats 45 million, okay, I will gift 5 memberships on Monday. And if it doesn't beat 45 million, you got to gift 5 memberships. Gentlemen agreement? All right, there you go. So we'll find out whenever the numbers come out. Whenever the numbers come out, I'm pretty sure by Monday morning we'll know the number. So it might be a little late in the day, so we might have to wait till Tuesday for the official weekend. But I'm pretty sure it'll be out by Monday. Because usually they'll figure it out by Sunday and they'll post it by Monday. But I don't know if we'll be live. They might do it like 1 o'clock in the afternoon or so. But either way, it'll be Monday. Can the movie lose? Yeah, no, it can lose money. Yeah, the Marvels lost money. The Marvels lost somewhere around $250 to $300 million. like it's bad. Because you got to remember, like, even if it made, like, the Marvels, it made $206 million. Half of that goes back to the movie theaters, and then the leftover, that's $100 million, right? Goes back to the studios, right? So they have, like, nothing left. They have, like, zero. They're in the negative. They just eat it. The studio just eats it. We'll figure it out, Nate. We'll figure it out. Figures out a new video? Well, I won't watch it. I won't watch it on the stream until it's a couple days old and whatnot to let it get it through its course. All right. We'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, for Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. Join me and Sarge tonight for episode 405. I think it's 405. Yeah, I think it's 405. 8 p.m. tonight, as we just rant over gaming news and whatnot. Thanks for coming out, hanging out with us this morning. I hope you guys enjoyed your morning stream here, afternoon stream, or the evening stream, wherever you are. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.